So let's get to the formats, how you should be presenting this in whatever digital assets or a research outcome that you're looking at. So, so we discussed the why, what, where, when, and how of a single why, right? Similarly, you'll have five whys, five whats, etc. For each of them, there'll be a cause, effect, and the outcome. All right, solutions, and then of course how the external forces affected, and so on and so forth. Now, with all this data, that whole method to madness discussion, it has to get organized, right? So the first is when you have this data in this particular format, it'll be easier for you to imbibe it and put it in a structured format for the purpose that you're bringing out for, whether it be a book, a research data, a journal, or something relevant for your blog site or a video log, and so on and so forth. So the data has to get systematized accordingly as per you want to use it for. Okay. Second is, once you organize that data, then you start streamlining it for the active use. Okay, that means you get the focused outcome out of that. If you remember, there were four questions, right? And those four questions were all about how you will, in case you're writing a book, what is the question, what is the answer, what caused it, and then how it will get, how it is perceived in the current, future times, and the past times, right? So those, when put into that relevant data, becomes a focused data to be used, right, with the relevant connectivity with its references. All right. Now, once that focused data comes into existence in a serial format, you then pick and choose the relevant data for your audiences. Okay, so we organized data, we made it concise, picked up the right ones, which will then get used in a very concise format, which is for the purpose it has been used for. Then you focused on it and, for the subject required, right? Because you get focused data in terms of the question and answers, and then you use it for the relevant audience in the format you want it to. So the below three were ideation process, right? Relevancy becomes the input for the content, for the final outcome of the digital asset. Okay, so always remember ideation for the relevant audience and then the content. Now that itself becomes a, as we call it, the collated target, the content. Okay, and then once you're putting it together, right, a book or a PowerPoint presentation or a document file or one of whatever that you're trying to do out there, right, this becomes relevant while going in that in the sequence of events. Okay, now you might want to look at the RISE reference research template. Okay, so give me a minute, I'll just bring it up. Okay, so you have this is downloadable in the link below. Now, what you remember, we asked the question and this is a relevant answer. So the table of contents for something like this, first you write all the question and answers, collected data in the first one. Then you write the topic, the subtopic, the sub-subtopic of the, sometimes you might not have the sub-subtopic, right? So this is for maybe an extension one, but that's okay. So, and then you write the data reference, if there's a diagram that you would refer to, and then write your remarks. So that's the first set of data collection, right? Now, the methodologies that we talked about for a particular topic, right? The why, what, where, when, how, cause. This is that. So you find the topic, that is the why, you write the answer, the method, that means, so if you remember the where, why, when, what, when, how, right? Now, for every cause, there's an effect, and then effect has a solution to it, right? That solution, what is the method for? Right? Because in the answers, you will be giving all these things, the why, where, what, why, where, what, when. Then for the solution, there are methods. So that methods need to come out here. Okay. Then same goes for the subtopic, right? And then once you see the answers and the relevant methodologies, you might want to put a framework around that space. We made DEAPER, right? Once we saw the, what are the systems or the steps that are required. So larger framework came to existence. Then we put methodologies in place. Right? How do we examine, how do we go into further more details, and so on and so forth. So that is how you put your frameworks once you get into that mode. Now each of them will again come with references, right? So if you remember references that you put there, you have collected that data and put that references and put it here. Now this is pertaining to the subject. Now you're shortlisting it, right? For that topic, that subject, you write a reference, you have the diagram URL, and then you write the remarks on it. Okay. Similarly, this has been preconceived. The diagrams have already been put in beforehand while making your TOC. Got it? So while you're researching, you have your references here, you have your diagrams the way it is. Okay, I hope you can see my cursor. Then you try to make a framework while you're conceiving it as a topic, right? Because your TOC is made from references and diagrams. Okay, so TOC is made from references and diagrams. Then you use and derive a methodology. I told you how, by putting the cause and effect solution and the methods used for doing that. And then when you see a series of methods, you make a framework out of it. Simple. So this is that. So you derive this, and what you write, you download it and sometimes you use it. Okay, but you see, that is what you show. This is what you will make as a template for yourself as per your comfort, right? That will be used. What I want to show to you is the reference material. So you'll collect data there in the Excel sheet, and then you derive a TOC, which will then formulate into a outcome as a content. Clear? Right. And I show you a filled up one. Give me a minute. Okay, so it's very long. Now, if you see the workbook and the tabs, right, very many tabs. So the template that has been shown to you with the orange kind of header there, that is more of a templatized approach towards this, but you are free to kind of change it as per your topic, which I have also, all right? But most of the time, this has been used and has been very relevant to find the outcome. Okay. Now, you can go really wild on your workbooks, right? You can just keep on increasing those tabs. But your end of the day, your TOC should be very precise and concise, which you will take and run with as a content. Okay. The relevancy is very important. If you remember the tag that we showed you, the pointed bullet, the bullet target. Okay. So with that said, we will now go back, and this is what I was talking about. What I showed you was relevant, the TOC, so that when you put the content in place, finally, you can look at only one topic. These are more ideations, right, from organized to focused. All right. So this is how research is done in depth, takes its time, and you should be taking your time because this forms your foundation and your genesis for getting the digital data out, right? Without survey, please don't do this because what you come out with might not be the most practical thing. Your MVP might also, what you try to come out, you'll have to go through a complete churn. All right? Okay, so with that, the challenge is in the next, create a research document next 7 days using DEAPER. As simple as that. You have the template, you have the framework, you have the methodology, you have been explained how to do this. Please dirty your hands as much as possible for enhancing or creating a digital asset that you want to. And once you do that, if you have questions, you take it up in RISE circles and go deeper in case required or have a feedback and take it on from there. All right. Then I will see you in the next one. Okay, and that is the topic of copywriting. I'll see you there. Bye.